Can you tell us your name and where you're from?
Anthony Fiscella from Newport News, Virginia.
Why August 6th are you here at Kings Bay Naval Base, the largest nuclear submarine base in the world?
Because right here at this nuclear Trident base, we're basically honoring terror. And yes, the United States is number one terrorist in the world. No other country can carry that unthinkable honor of killing so many people at one time as the United States. And without remembering people in Hiroshima, what happened, what it feels like, we can't imagine it, but we have to take steps to try to remember what it is like to evaporate 100,000 bodies at once, to have people with terribly deformed, terribly mutilated in an instant. A type of terror that had any other country done it, and had any country done it in the United States, we would have the entire country here standing with us, telling the world to remember all the travesty that had taken place. And the ones holding that power, holding these nuclear missiles, holding all of that firepower in their hands, are the ones who need to remember.
Right.
More than the ones who succumb to this violence, because they don't need to be reminded. People in Japan don't need this reminder. They remember. We need it. And it's the smallest thing one can do is take some sort of stand to recall that.
And to kick the bomb, as your poster would suggest. Kick it and maybe transform its physicality into something of life.
Well, right. I guess what you're speaking of is the swords into plowshares, right? And you know, that's what we could do, because all of that material, I mean, there's an incredible amount of scientific knowledge, incredible amount of material resources and metal and energy and fuel, countless labor power that goes into creating and maintaining weapons of mass destruction. And imagine what we could do if we transform that into the basics that we need for schools, for healthcare, for providing the food that people need all across the world, and right here in the United States, right here in Georgia. You don't have to go far to find people without a home, people who are hungry, and no sane person would allocate money towards nuclear weapons in the face of actual needs. So I feel like we go along with it because we feel it's inevitable. We allow an insane system to determine the rules for our personal ethics. And so we pretend that we can ignore it and act as if we can go along with our daily routine and forget the idea that it could happen at any time, that we could have a nuclear war remind us that these things never went anywhere. They didn't disappear after Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And they're with us every day, and we don't want to wake up to them happening in anywhere. And the only way to deal with that is absolute abolishing them.
So I just was at a meeting of a local environmental coalition here in, just north of Camden County and Glenn County, where we had women from the Savannah River site, which is considered to be the either third or fourth most polluted rivers in the whole of the United States due to nuclear weapons manufacturing, as well as nuclear power plants. And those who have been affected by the production and just the proximity to the power plants are very poor African American communities, where the women and children are the ones most affected, because their cells, women carry the cells of reproduction, and in addition, children's cells rapidly multiply, and as a result, if there's a little bit of cancer in one, if they're rapidly multiplying, then it causes rapid production of cancer cells. And so we see the effects of these nuclear weapons today in our poor communities, not to mention our native communities who are experiencing the mining of uranium, etc. And it's their lands that are being polluted by just the production of them, not to mention the final use or intended purpose of these weapons. So
absolutely, yeah.
Thank you.
That's the pattern across the board, that rich people do more polluting and poor people do more bearing the consequences of that.
Yeah.
People of color disproportionately bear the consequences of pollution across the board, and white people disproportionately create pollution. So, as with weapons, it's in the hands of people with power have to take that stand, and you know, that's all of us. It's permeated throughout. Whatever degree of power we have a corresponding degree of responsibility to take action on that.
Thank you very much, Anthony.
Thank you.